Yeah, it's another thing that I think we really need to find a way around in our industry is this rock star mentality. It's I mean, it's very clear that there are people that are genuinely incredibly good at what they do and need to be listened to and learned from, and I suppose emulated. I mean, those are all good things, but somehow the way that devolves into a sort of a personality cult in our space is not, I think it's not healthy. And I think it's, you know, as you were touching on now, it creates a paradigm where people seek to emulate rock stars, but for the wrong reasons or in the wrong ways. Or I think people just give up a lot because it doesn't feel like you can be a rock star, and maybe actually you don't want to be a rock star, and but it doesn't feel like there's space for a guy who's doing a decent 9 to 5 and adding value in a small way. You know, it feels like he's not really accepted. We ran into that in SensePost quite early on, because we had a bit of a sort of a cult culture, you know, where it was all about how hard you're working, how much you're doing, how much you're publishing, where you're talking. And I remember having a guy work for us who I really liked and knew really well. But he just wasn't making it in that sense. And we confronted him on it and said, look, you know, you got to step up. And I remember being so shocked at the time when he said he didn't really want to. He didn't want to be a rock star. He was really quite happy to be just kind of, you know, a little bit better than average. And eventually he left. He didn't stick around, and I think we felt at the time it was appropriate. But what was interesting was he then moved on, interestingly enough, into forensics and incident investigations, and became really good. Became really good at what he did, and I think he's very highly regarded now. And it was like as if the company that he moved to had a little bit more room for someone who was just good and not amazing. And, you know, once they made a bit of room for him, I think he felt more comfortable and he was kind of able to find his own path. Whereas in our sort of almost like cult-like status at that time, it didn't feel like there was space. The gap was too big. You know, what he was being asked to aspire to was too high. Yeah. And in that sense, some of those rock stars, I think, create a base that is maybe not necessarily useful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know we've got a slew of people now here in ShadowDragon, and all of the personalities are vastly different, you know, and it's really hard to push, like, oh, get out of your boundaries past, you know, 6 to 7 o'clock in the work cycle, you know. So I just kind of start pushing on things of like higher level cultural ideas, like strive for excellence, you know, precision, focus, and teamwork. So you don't have the rock star type thing as the emerging thing. It's, I'm trying to build team of teams. So
we've also experienced where the rock stars don't actually do any work.
Right.
They're busy in the green room partying, you know, and there's not really a lot of productivity coming out of them. So, you know, you're paying a lot for a big name, but they're putting in 20 hours a month or something like that.
Yeah, and then they're constantly on Reddit or something, you know.
Yeah, because they got to be posting this, they got to be on that podcast, they're interviewing here, they have a guest speaking thing over at this thing, and it's like, okay, but we were really hoping you might do some work for our clients.
Yeah, billables.